everyone. Welcome to another episode of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock with Arturio Emerys. So we have an awful lot to talk about, and we're not going to get to talk about all of it today because I've been promising for a couple episodes that I'm going to start talking about Botania. And I'm finally ready to do that. I finished with the Pam's Craft. I've got all the Pam's Craft seeds. They're all 10, 10, 10. I've expanded the base so that I have room to do Botania. I've got a sorting system worked out. I've done a lot of things off camera. I haven't recorded in a week. And I am ready to go. So let's just jump right into it. Let's get some stuff out of the way here. And in Botania, there's some stuff that you need first before you do anything else, and that is white daisies. All right, let me just get situated here so that I can do this as quickly as possible. Okay, this is a petal apothecary. This is the one thing that I did ahead of time. It's not terribly difficult to make, but let me just show it to you really quick. You take some doubly compressed cobblestone, which at this point in the game should not be difficult to make. You have to have some cobblestone slabs and a petal from any mystical flower. I would recommend not starting Botania till you have all 16 of the mystical petals. It'll just make your life a little easier. You also need a cauldron, which you'll need iron plates for, and you'll have to make those with the forge hammer. But, you know, that should be doable at this point. So that's how you make the petal apothecary. You have to put water in it, and I believe that there's not a way to automate this. You literally have to use a bucket. I think that's what I've discovered from previous versions. So now you just kind of drop ingredients in there, and they've changed the interface a little bit. In this particular version, see how it's now showing? It's now showing the ingredients you've put in there, and it's showing you a check mark to indicate if you add seeds, and really it'll take seeds of some type, it'll produce a pure daisy, which is what we're going for here. Now I can, with an empty hand, I can right click and it'll add those ingredients again, as long as you do it within a short period of time. And I was going to make 4 of these. There we go. 4 pure daisies. For now, yep, I can only do it on the grass, which is fine. I was going to make the floating versions, but I'll save that for another episode down the road. I did not get any logs. Let me grab some logs real quick. And I will need some stone. Now this is what the pure daisy does. You put logs around the pure daisies like this, and you see these little particle effects that are now popping up here that you're not getting over here. The pure daisies are converting these logs into living wood, I think it's called. And it'll do the same thing for stone. If you put stone around it, it will slowly convert the stone into living stone. So we'll just wait for that to happen. Okay, and there you have it. That's how you make living wood. And living stone. Living rock, I'm sorry. So let me gather this up real quick. It's not terribly difficult to mine. just grab this wood and I'll show you the next step. I'm going to get these out of my way. And eventually I probably need a bigger plot of land for this. Now the first thing I need to make is a mana pool, which I'll put right there to start. And I will, in short order, need another mana pool. So I'm going to make another one. And the rest of this stuff I'm going to put away for now. And I need to make some flowers for generating mana. So typically the first thing you start with is one of two flowers. A day bloom, which is one of your very basic, what's the difference between a day bloom and a day bloom motif? I don't know. This one's a passive generating flower, and this one's a miscellaneous flower. I'm assuming that if you do this conversion, throw it into a mana pool with an alchemy catalyst underneath it, it converts it from a day bloom into a day bloom motif. And the difference probably is this is a flower that, while it doesn't decay, also doesn't produce mana. So if you wanted to use one of these for decorating purposes and didn't want it to decay, this is how you go about doing that. I don't know, they're not all that attractive. I wouldn't want to decorate with them. Let's see, I believe that was, and whoever the creators of Botania are, do us all a favor, fix this. Every time you look up a recipe for any flower in Botania, it pops up this stupid recipe. Okay? Get rid of this. Every flower in every version of Botania I've played, you get to your screen and you have to go to the next one to look at the one you're actually looking at. Somebody fix that glitch. That is the dumbest thing in the world for that to have been wrong for that length of time. That's like 2 years that's wrong. Sorry, rant mode off. Early morning, grumpy old man. Okay, mystical yellow, mystical orange, mystical light blue. I'm glad I went to the time to create so many of these. This really wasn't bad. I kind of did it a little bit at a time. And then where did I put those seeds? And turns out I will need a bucket. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the first one, and then I'll do the rest of them in high speed. And I'm going to swap the locations of those to make this a little easier on me. One of my viewers a couple episodes ago suggested I try a resource pack. And I usually play with just vanilla Minecraft. But I decided to try one, and I do kind of like this. There are things that I don't like about this particular one. I think this is the Sortex resource pack. And one of the problems is the difference between a full bucket and an empty bucket is so subtle that it's almost impossible to see, at least for me. Like that, there's actually water in that Petal Apothecary. And it's, like I said, it's almost impossible to tell if it does or doesn't. All right, it's going to take me a minute to get the kind of the sequence down. So if I make sure that I have an empty spot for those. Okay, and there we have 16 day blooms. Now I'm going to make some other ones. I'm going to make some nightshade. And those take black, mystical gray, and mystical purple. And again, I'm going to make 16. Okay, regular gray, not light gray. And purple. And let me get some more. Get some more water. And again, I'll go through one and then we'll fast forward through the others. And here's the last one. So that's 16 of each. And it's currently nighttime. Now, these two types of flowers are what are called passive generating flowers, which means you put them down and under the right circumstances, they will just passively create mana. And that has two consequences. One, the passive generating flowers can't be right next to each other, otherwise they interfere with each other. The closest you can put them is diagonal, like that. The other thing is passive generating flowers in more recent versions of Botania don't last forever. They last a certain period of time and then they decay and die, and it's basically an hour. Okay. All right, so there's a particular range that these flowers will produce mana and send it to this mana pool. And I'm going to try to, it's a little bit bigger than this, so I'm going to try to put a few more down, because I want to use all of these. I mean, I went to the trouble of making them, I might as well use them. All right, so there's one other thing that I think I need to make that I have not made yet. Yeah, I'll need another. You have to make a wand. Okay, I need one more living wood twig. All right, let's try it again, like this. There. That's interesting. I used 2 black petals and it's showing a little bit of green on it. All right, so anyway, this is the recipe for a wand of the forest. 3 living wood twigs with 2 mystical petals of any color. And if I put different colors here, you'll get a different color wand. Okay, so you grab that. Is there any? Nope, there's no mana in there. Now, what this does is you can see that all of these flowers have mana in them. And in just that quick, with how quickly the sun came up, the day blooms are full of mana. And I think I need to make a mana spreader. Will this not absorb directly? Actually, they might. Let's see. I have to put this in bind mode, and the way you do that is you kind of look at nothing and you right click up in the air, or I'm sorry, shift right click. It's in function mode right now, and then shift right click again, it goes to bind mode. And what bind mode does is if you right click on one thing and then right click on something else, nope, it's not doing it. Yeah, I have to make a mana spreader. Let's see, I think I need 5 or 6. I think I need 6 of these. I also think I need a gold ingot. Let me go get a gold ingot real quick. All right, I believe this is the recipe for a basic mana spreader. Yep, it is. And so what I will do, yeah, how do I want to do this? Now I'm going to put this mana spreader here. I'm going to get rid of that block. Now I'm going to bind it to the pool right there. I'm going to try to bind it to the pool right there. There we go. Okay, so that mana spreader is now sending mana to this pool. And you can see there's a tiny, tiny bit of mana in there. So what I need to do is I need to tie all of these using the bind mode, tie all of them to the mana spreader. And that way they will automatically send their mana to the mana spreader, and it is aimed at this mana pool. So there's some mana in there. There's not a lot in there. This one hasn't gone yet. All right, now it's empty. I'm just trying to make sure that all of them, by clicking on them, I can see which ones I've tagged and which ones I haven't. I think I've got them all. Come on, keep hitting the wrong key. I think that is all of them. Okay. So for an hour, these will produce mana. And what it appears to do is it appears that once during a particular day cycle, a day bloom will completely fill its bar with mana, just once a day. And then it'll fill once a day and it'll drain to the mana spreader, and the mana spreader will port it down to this mana pool, and you can see there's just barely an indication that there's mana in here. And the same thing for the nightshade. When night comes around, these will fill, and they will port their mana over to the mana spreader, and it will output it to the mana pool. Now, since these are passively generating flowers, these will last an hour. And then once that hour is up, they're going to die, and I'll have to make new ones. Sorry, that's today's episode. An introduction to Botania. There will be more Botania, but this is going to take a while to process, and then I'm going to have to make more flowers. And, you know, down the road, I'll come back and we'll make new flowers that are better at generating mana from other sources. But for now, this is our start to Botania, and there's going to be a lot we're going to do here, and we will get to it in a later episode. So if you like this episode, please leave a like on it on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it would be great if you could subscribe to my channel. And lastly, if you have any questions or comments, leave them on YouTube and we'll answer them when we can. Thank you for watching. This is Arturio Emerys signing out.